I guess we can't go an iOS update without some problems. To be fair, we don't know if the issue is iOS 12 or the iPhone XS or XS Max, because there's kind of two issues with the XS Max, one dealing with more software and the other one kind of up in the air. The first problem that XS users and XS Max users are already dealing with just a week into their usage is more definitely a part of a software problem, is beauty gates. You know how we put bend gates and all these gates? All these gates are simply widespread issues with these new iPhones, because people always like to find problems, especially when you're spending $1,000 to $1,100 or even $1,400 on a smartphone. You definitely have some right to look for problems, but this problem is kind of good for some and then bad for others. This gate is of course called beauty gate, and it's only affecting the XS and XS Max, but the problem is found with over smoothing of the face on the XS and XS Max. If you compare a front-facing iPhone X photo to a front-facing iPhone XS photo, you are going to see that the iPhone X is kind of a little bit more sharp, even though it's a year-old camera compared to the XS, which should have a better overall image, but to the eye in detail, it's not. The XS photo just kind of over smooths your face, which just makes it look like you have makeup. It doesn't look realistic. It doesn't look like the iPhone X or every single iPhone front-facing picture ever up to this date. And over this past year, we've kind of been exposed to this over smoothing or beauty mode on these Android phones. But with an Android phone, you have an option to turn that beauty mode off, and some phones just go way overboard with the beauty mode. They put like 100 different makeup types, like way overboard. With those Android phones, you have the option to take it off and still get that nice crispy image that's just found on the iPhone X, similar to that. On the other hand, with the iPhone XS, you don't have the option to take it off, and we're still right now on iOS 12.0. If I personally bought the iPhone XS or XS Max, I would kind of be a little worried. I'd be like, the iPhone X still has a better front-facing camera than a year-old phone? How is that even possible? And you have to thank Apple's iOS 12 software that's put into these brand new phones. Hopefully Apple could revert the change, because honestly I don't prefer it, but apparently the Asian market does. Here in the United States, we're not truly accustomed to like the smoothing of our face, unless you consider Snapchat filters and Instagram filters. That we kind of like those filters, but not directly to our actual face. While in China and other Asian markets, they actually prefer all these software adjustments to the face. That's why the Samsung Note 9 comes with like 1,000 different makeup options to put on your face. As of me speaking right now, there has been no fix to try to revert this change, or at least put the option out there, which is kind of disheartening, because when Apple hears of these little problems, especially with the software, they're super quick to fix them. But now they're kind of waiting a couple days, which has me a little worried if I were to buy a XS or XS Max. Let's hope for all sakes that the iPhone XR doesn't suffer from the same exact problem, but it's most likely to, since it's the same exact front-facing camera hardware. But yet again, I'm like 95% sure this has to do with the software and not the hardware, and it's only software locked to the XS and XS Max. Maybe it's just one of those exclusive software features, but it's kind of bad in reality. Good in Asia, bad in the United States. And the second issue of those two gates, this one is now identified as charge gate, and charge gate is definitely more widespread an issue. It's definitely more an important issue, because it's actually affecting the way you charge your iPhone XS or XS Max. Yet again, this problem looks like it's only exclusive to the XS and XS Max, but some are reporting it on just iOS 12 devices in general. But this problem is with just specifically charging your device when it's sleeping. There is some rare cases that your XS or XS Max won't charge at all, but mostly like the main problem is that your iPhone won't charge when it's sleeping. When you just have it laying and you just close your phone and then you plug it in right before you go to bed, it won't charge for some weird reason. It would only start charging after you wake the device and then turn it off. Pretty strange, considering that we haven't seen this issue since the beginning of the iOS 12 betas all the way in early June, and we're starting to see this problem now in late September. This has me thinking on more of the pessimistic side of the spectrum, thinking that it's more of a hardware issue than a software issue, because if it was a software issue, you would think think Apple would fix it by now. Like I said, if Apple hears of a bug fix, they will do that bug fix right away, but they're holding off. Apple hasn't released iOS 12.1 or something to fix this issue. In my experience with the iPhone X or iPhone 10, I've had the iOS 12 beta ever since June, and as soon as the iOS 12 full public went out, I upgraded to that, and I haven't had any charging issues at all. But yet again, I don't really have the main issue phone, which is the iPhone XS, but I do have some friends who have it, and they haven't complained about a charging issue at all, so maybe it's just very, very minor. But even if it's a minor issue, that's affecting a lot of people who bought the brand new phone, especially the XS Max. A lot of people bought that. I'm sure if you do have that problem where your phone isn't charging when it's asleep, you could probably go to the Apple store and go to the Genius Bar and probably get a new replacement. But the sad part is there's also a good chance that that new replaced phone also might have the problem, which might lead to a software problem, or I don't know. Like, is it software or is it hardware? Because some XS's work and then some don't. On the bright side of Beautygate and ChargeGate is that these are most likely software issues and not hardware issues. That means that Apple could eventually, hopefully in the next upcoming week, they could completely revert the changes and make you enjoy your new iPhone XS or XS Max. If Apple just stays away and act like they're not hearing anything, well then it's going to be a very interesting scenario that's going to take place over the next couple of weeks. And you remember, we still have the iPhone XR, which it might have a slim chance of having those exact same problems, and we might have to go through all of this yet again. ChargeGate and Beautygate. If by any chance you have the iPhone XS or iPhone XS Max or any iOS 12 device, let me know in the comment section below if you are dealing with this ChargeGate scenario, and of course Beautygate. Let me know your opinions on that in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow for the latest and